What the hell is up, guys? And what the hell is going on? There's this huge influx of beloved artists that are playing live shows at venues and locations that just don't make any sense. Either the location is in the middle of nowhere, or the venue is way too small for how big the artist is and how many people would come to their shows, or the venue is also just like way too big, so big to the point where the artist might have to call off like half the tour because of such low ticket sales. So I wanted to talk about this today, but before we get into it, I first wanted to give a shout out to HT Hayes, my friend Troy, for sponsoring this video. He makes super entertaining reaction-based content to him listening to new music that comes out. It's a super fun way to consume like the new albums that are coming out. It's just kind of like you're listening along with a friend or something. It's fun, especially the full uncut reactions he does on his Patreon. They're so fun, and it's just a like cool way to consume new music that I normally wouldn't go out of my way to check out on my own. Pretty cool. He's been such a huge supporter of my music for such a long time, which is awesome. Such a friend of the show. Check out HT Hayes, goddammit. Check it out. Thanks, Troy. All right, goddammit, let's get into this meat. Let's get into this potatoes. I don't know, just making stuff up at this point. Lana Del Rey, let's address the elephant in the room, okay? What's up with that? What's up with the fall tour? Tennessee? Ugh. Franklin, Tennessee, like how is she picking these cities? Huntsville, Alabama? What is up with these? They're literally the most random places. It's like she was like blindfolded throwing darts at like every city in America, and whatever it landed on, I was like, oh, all right, guess we're going to Huntsville. Oh, okay, I guess we're going to Franklin. It's all these like random places. Missouri, like no LA show, no New York show. I get it. People don't play LA as much anymore. And I get it. It's more fun to play in these cities where literally like no one ever goes, because the crowd will probably be more excited to see you. When you go play in New York, when you go play in LA, it's like, oh, okay, everyone's playing here every night, you know? So I think the crowds can tend to be a little less exciting and engaged to play to than like if you go to Franklin. Like, you're going to Franklin, the Franklin people are going to be so excited that you're coming to Franklin. It's probably going to be an incredible crowd. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Hi, guys. I'm in Portland now. Next day. So I did some thinking since I recorded this video and mostly edited it. And I just wanted to say, it's frustrating that she's only going to, like, a very limited amount of places, and it's just going to result in a lot of people just, like, having an insanely tough time getting tickets and then buying all these resale tickets and all this crap and getting scammed and stuff like that. I think the idea of doing a tour that's literally, and also some of the places aren't that random, like Austin, Dallas, those aren't random at all. The fact that she is going to Florida too, like no one ever goes to Florida, and she's doing like several places in Florida, like that is cool. And in general, like a lot of these places, like whoever goes to Franklin, whoever goes to Mississippi. And I think that is a really cool thing about this tour, is that she's going to primarily a bunch of places that people don't normally go. That is really cool, and I think it is going to not only, like, make it feel more intimate, I guess, because these venues are small for someone the size of Lana Del Rey. I don't know, I think the crowd will bring, like, just an impeccable energy, because they'll just be so excited that she's in these places that literally no one ever goes to. So I do think that's really cool. I do think that is cool. No hate to Franklin. No hate to Brandon, Alabama. Literally, like, how is she picking these cities, though? Like, come on. Like, you're not going to do any New York, LA, like, any bigger city shows. Like, is this some kind of joke? Is it a joke? Are we joking? And not only that, but the size of these rooms is just, like, way too small. I feel like for Lana Del Rey, like, 7,500 cap room, 14,000, 20,000 cap rooms, 8,000 cap room in Huntsville, Alabama, and like 14,000, 20,000, yeah, that's definitely bigger. Like, that's a lot of people. But these smaller rooms especially, and at the same time, it is Lana Del Rey. There's like 9, 10 shows. People are going to fly out to go see her, especially because there are such a limited amount of shows. She's not playing like 30, 20, whatever shows. Like, she could be playing much bigger rooms, especially since her most recent album was such a widely critically acclaimed album. It was like maybe her most critically acclaimed album maybe ever. Ethel Cain too. I mean, she's blown up a lot, I feel like, in the past year. Ever since Preacher's Daughter, I feel like it wasn't like a massive splash. Like, I don't think it was like a sour level splash, but like over time, I feel like as people have found that album outside of her existing fan base, I think because of that album, she's grown like her fan base so much, and it really is such an incredible piece of work. And her tour is not as random as Lana's. Like, she is playing a San Francisco show, but like Hudson, New York, big sir. And her San Francisco room is a 1,400 cap room. Hudson, New York is 1,200. Portland, Maine, 1,800 cap room. Like, which again seems like it is a lot of people, but Ethel Cain is also huge, and she's only playing 9 shows, and like all of the shows sold out. From what I've read, like pretty quickly, and if not quickly, like they're all already sold out. And no hate to these artists, I can understand like why they're doing this for sure, and I'm definitely going to talk about it. I feel like this is just like a newer thing that this is happening, but I literally don't know. It could have just been something that's always been the case. Like, artists are just like playing rooms that are way smaller than you think they would play. And I think a lot of it has to do with like internet fame and just like how arbitrary those monthly listener numbers really are, because you could have the same amount of monthly listeners as someone. One person's playing like 3,000 cap rooms, one person's playing 300. Like, that's just kind of how the internet can catapult someone. Yeah, even Weezer, like that guy from Weezer apparently is playing like these super small rooms. I don't have any internet right now, and I already typed this up. And my phone is recording, and that would have been my hotspot, so I'm not gonna look it up. Chelsea, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Chelsea's over here like, you can use my hotspot. Don't even say anything. I don't want to even look it up.
Remember his name.
Rivers Cuomo?
Yes.
Apparently he's playing really small rooms. God damn it, I don't know. Someone said that on my Instagram, so I'm just gonna trust him. Apparently Rivers Cuomo is doing the same goddamn thing. But the biggest example of this that I can think of is the Olivia Rodrigo Sour tour. Her debut album was literally the biggest album of that year. She's like the biggest breakout artist of the 2020s. There's no one that has made quite the splash in the charts, in pop culture, as much as Olivia Rodrigo, right? Such an insanely successful debut album. And this was her first tour as a solo artist. And these venues, it's like, dude, Vancouver venue is 8,000 cap. Detroit venue, 4,600 cap room. Philly show, 3,500 people is the maximum amount of people that can fit in the room. 5,900 cap show in LA. 5,900 in New York, too. Guys, I know that sounds like a lot of people, but we're talking about Olivia Rodrigo. She could have, if she really wanted to, I truly believe, at least had a couple of arenas on this tour completely sell out. At least a couple, right? But why? So, like, why is this happening? Well, again, like, these are just some examples. I don't think these are the only examples, but this is something that I'm kind of noticing a lot lately with artists announcing tours, is like the rooms they're playing are just not making any sense, kind of. But in the same vein, like, it kind of does make sense if you think about it. It's case by case. There's reasons, I'm sure, different reasons for these artists, like why Lana is doing this random show run in like these random places. And I'm sure the reasons she's doing it are different from like Ethel Cain or Olivia. And I think artists don't usually talk about the reasoning for stuff like this. I think it could be like a bunch of different things. I mean, at least for Lana, like, she might be doing this on purpose. Well, obviously she's doing it on purpose. There's a reason for it. But I think it's interesting because maybe she's like picking the most random places to perform to sort of generate buzz and make it seem like a super exclusive opportunity to go see her show, so that when maybe she'll announce future legs of this tour that she's doing in the US, in these bigger cities, people will pay even more attention to it and sell those shows out even more quickly, which is an interesting tactic. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but it's Lana Del Rey. Like, I feel like she could totally just sell all the shows out, I feel like, if she posted about all of them at once, right? It is weird. And in general, I feel like it's weird. It's hard to really gauge, like, who will actually come and when they'll buy their tickets and how quickly things will sell out and how big of a venue you can sell out. But it's weird, though. Like, it's Lana. Like, she's played enough shows for these promoters and touring agencies to have a good gauge of how many shows she would sell out and like how many tickets she can sell per city, right? And the same thing could go for Ethel. I don't really know how much she's toured before, but like, she's only announced like 9 or 10 shows. Like, maybe she's just gonna do another leg of the tour like down the line, and she's only doing like a small amount of shows now. And maybe it's for no other reason than the fact that like they don't want to do a month-long tour. It's exhausting. It's a lot to do, to be on the road for like a month, 3 months sometimes. And if you have the option to just tour for like 10 shows and then just go home, and that's kind of like the speed you want to go at instead of just doing like a massive run at once, like why not, right? I don't know. The Olivia Rodrigo Sour tour in particular, I feel like is like so interesting though, and it's such a wild example of this because it is so unique. Like, this is literally her first tour. Her booking agency has literally no gauge of how many tickets she would sell. None. She's never even, this is her first album, her first tour. They don't even know, like, to get, oh god, there's a bee in here. Oh, please fly out the other way. Please fly out the other way. Oh god. Oh. By the way, guys, we're stopped in Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta, we just ate some dinner. I met this really nice family of friends. They had a really nice dog. I met the mayor of somewhere, and he gave me his card, and guess I'm going to be playing in Mount Shasta one day. That's what the mayor said. He said, yeah, I think you... He said, yeah, I think you'll play a really nice thing here. He said, yeah, I think that you'll do a really nice job. I said, thank you. I think that is really nice. And they let me pet their dog. Oh god, please don't come back in, please. There's no past experience with touring for Olivia. There's no opening slot she ever did. Like, there's literally just no gauge of how many tickets she would sell. And with the rise of TikTok musicians, it's not unheard of that someone would have, like, I don't know, 10 million monthly listeners and sell out like maybe a 500 cap room at the most, maybe 700. The music industry is so oversaturated, and especially with like playlisting, it's like these monthly listener numbers are so arbitrary. They don't mean anything when it comes to ticket sales. It's so hard to gauge. Like, you can't really gauge how many tickets you'd sell based on your monthly listeners. But Olivia isn't just like another TikTok artist. She isn't just another person who started at like from nothing and then just kind of had a viral TikTok song. Like, she is literally like the biggest breakout artist of the 2020s, and she literally, like, in a way kind of was established in the entertainment industry as a Disney star, and then had like such a magnificent level of success with that debut album. Like, it's really incredible, and it's so cool to see. She totally could have sold out arenas, and it was just like apparently a shit show, like getting tickets for this thing. But at the same time, you have to think, like, dude, this is literally her first tour, first album, first tour, and she could do arenas. That doesn't necessarily mean that, like, that's something that's right for her personally, like that's something that she would want to do. Can you imagine no experience touring, really playing like live in a touring setting much, like at all, and then you immediately skip to arena size venues? Like, no, you kind of, it makes sense to start somewhere, right? It makes sense to start in like even amphitheaters, I guess, like smaller, like more intimate venues, intimate compared to arenas, right? Then it makes the arenas a little bit less intimidating. Like, that's gotta be just like, that's just too much at first. So although it made it really hard for people to get tickets, and like I'm sure like there were a lot of problems with scalping and like bots buying up all these tickets, and they got resold for just like disgusting prices, can you blame her for not doing an arena tour? Like, it literally makes sense a little bit. And that's just to say, like, although all of these artists could be playing bigger venues, from a business standpoint, unfortunately, you, as an artist, like, you've got to just look at things like that sometimes. It sucks. It's better to sell out a smaller venue than have a lot of open seats at a bigger venue. It just makes the artist look better to, like, touring agencies, whatever. It also makes it so that they don't lose money. Like, if you're going to book an arena show and then not sell it out, you're going to lose money. Whereas if you are booking these smaller venues and selling them out like immediately, you're going to just make more money that way. Also, to the audience, it's like, if you're going to sell out your shows immediately, it makes it look like, holy shit, well, I really need to go to the next one, and then the next tour will sell out, and the next one, and the next one, and it'll just be like, there'll be more buzz. Like, it'll just look cooler if you like sell out your stuff. And it's kind of like a similar situation with my tour right now, although on like a much much smaller scale, because my only touring experience besides the co-headliner I'm doing right now with Jordana was opening for Half Live and Tessa Violet also earlier this year. Aside from that, literally no live experience at all. I maybe played like one open mic my entire life, but literally, and one show at the Moroccan like 2 years ago, Moroccan Lounge in Los Angeles. And even on the Half Live and Tessa Violet tour, like I was added to the tour. Most of the shows were already sold out anyway, or like super low tickets, so there's literally no way that anyone could have known how many tickets I would personally be able to sell. But now, especially since this tour has gotten started, like every show since like the 4th show on the tour has literally sold out, except for Los Angeles. Like every single one, which is insane. Like that is so, I literally can't believe it. I was truly like, wow, like it would be such a dream. Like, can you believe if like even half of them sold out? Like it's wild. And the only shows for the rest of the tour that aren't sold out are New York and Vancouver, and New York is like 95% sold. So it's like insane. Like I literally had no idea that that could happen, and it did. This is such a cool experience. So I can't thank you guys enough for coming to these shows and making them so special and fun every single night. They're just so cool, and I just look forward to the next one, and I literally can't believe there's only 8 shows left. It's weirding me out. And if you do want to come to the Vancouver show or the New York show, devlemons.net. Oh, they're really fun. Anyway, it can literally be like a nightmare scenario if your touring agency overestimates how many tickets you can sell. Lil Baby's arena tour basically got canceled. I think they canceled like 9, 10 of the shows, and they didn't specify why, but there's been some speculation that it's like they're just not selling enough tickets. That's not a good look if you have to do that. It's just a bummer. I saw this TikTok of Kim Petras' upcoming tour, like arena tour again, barely selling any seats. She has like 20 million monthly listeners. That's what I'm saying. Is like these numbers don't matter. They literally don't matter. Just because there's like 20 million people listening to you every month doesn't mean that you can sell out like what? How many people are in an arena? Like 20,000 people a night? Like it doesn't mean that. Which is crazy. Like I'm telling you, like these numbers mean nothing. It's fascinating. They mean less than I think they ever have. And when these types of shows like are canceled, a lot of the time it is unclear why, or the artist will just say it's like a different reason so that they don't have to say publicly like, oh, I didn't sell enough tickets so we had to cancel the show. Here's an article I found about it, and there's a quote from this article. Here's what it says. T-Pain admitted that this was the reason he called off a tour back in 2019. Though he admitted in an Instagram post, I was advised to lie about this and say that I needed some alone time or some time to spend with my family. Also, this article says that in the lawsuit between Chance the Rapper and his former manager, the manager, said that the tour that Chance was doing in 2019 was canceled due to low ticket sales and poor attendance projections. But at the time, Chance the Rapper said that he called it off because he wanted to be with family and make some new music and develop the best show to date. It's such a weird, kind of shitty situation because although for the artist it makes a lot more sense to play it safe, make sure the shows sell out, it can really suck for the concert goer because since the shows are selling out so quickly and these people are having to like stay up all night till like 6 a.m. and be 2,000th in line for these shows just to not get like any seats at all, and then if they do, like maybe they're stuck with like the crappiest seats in the arena. And then they have to buy resale tickets that are twice, maybe even 3 times the price, like just insanely expensive and half the time the resale tickets are scams. So the answer to this would be like, well, why doesn't the artist just book a bigger venue so that people have more time to buy the tickets? But if the artist books a bigger venue and then it doesn't sell out or it sells like way less than they thought, then that stinks for the artist. The artist is going to walk away like losing a lot of money. All of this type of stuff I feel like really feeds into the resale ticket market, like the industry of resale tickets, like music, like ticket scalping and scamming and stuff like that. Because people are always going to want to buy these resale tickets. People are always going to just pay whatever to go to a concert. And at the same time, they're like buying these resale tickets only fuels the ticket scalping and scamming industries even more and makes it possible for them to get away with doing this. And that's not to say that like it's always just like wrong to buy a resale ticket. Sometimes someone just like can't go and they need to sell their ticket, right? Like, and it's like a real person. And sometimes, you know, shit happens. This literally happened to someone at one of my shows. A group of friends like came to one of my shows and there was just like a miscommunication with who bought the tickets. So then one of the friends didn't have a ticket, didn't find out until they were on the way to the show, bought a resale ticket for like over $100, like $150 or something like insane. My tickets are literally $20. So that's just messed up. And then it ended up being a scam. It literally ended up being a scam ticket. And the only reason that person got in, which is something that someone at the venue told me, I don't even know if they knew that this was the case, but like the reason they got in is because someone actually donated one of their tickets to the venue because they bought 2 tickets to like 2 different shows on the same day or something like that. But it's just insane. Like stuff like that happens and you're like desperate and like you just like you really want to go, so like sure, I'll pay $150. Then stuff like that happens and it just stinks. I don't know. Live music, we gotta figure something out, guys. We gotta just figure something out. But regardless, this stuff is interesting stuff to think about. It's interesting stuff to think about and to talk about. Right, Chelsea? Right. There's Chelsea. It is very touching that someone would go to the lengths to pay a lot of money to go to one of my shows, but it also is just like, damn, like just email me next time or something, like DM me and we'll figure it out. I'll just get you in for free or something. Like that stinks, guys. So yeah, what do you guys think of all this stuff? Have you noticed this lately? Hey, have you noticed this lately? What do you think is the answer? How do we fix it? How do we fix it? Anyone know?
Try not to boil the whole ocean at once. Something people say. It just means like don't do too much. Don't try to do a bunch at once.
I've literally never heard that saying in my life.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. You know the drill. You know the drill. Okay, we're gonna go to Portland now. Bye.